The United Nations has given us 10 years to prevent irreversible damage from climate change.
As this problem will shape our future, we have to address this issue before it's too late.
According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, 33% of food produced for human consumption ends up rotting away.
This equals about 1.3 billion tons of food wasted every year, with around 437 billion Canadian dollars worth of this food waste coming from developing countries.
Farmers throughout the global south are unable to make use of their entire crop yield because they lack the necessary resources and infrastructure needed to capitalize on their entire harvest. This waste, in turn, results in a loss of potential income for farmers.
Here at the British Columbia Institute of Technology, we understand that the businesses with sustainable goals are the businesses of the future.
We conducted a needs assessment in Guatemala, Ethiopia, and Uganda because all three regions are located on a similar latitude and we had connections to local NGOs. Love Guatemala, Food for the Hungry Ethiopia, and Food for the Hungry Uganda. These partners work with local communities and farmers, allowing us to collect trusted, useful, and aligned information in order to design a solution that works well in all three regions. Our primary research with these partners showed that across all three regions, approximately 20 to 50% of food being produced was going to waste every year, confirming our secondary research. We found that the average annual wages of low and highly skilled farmers working in Guatemala, Uganda, and Ethiopia were ranging from about $200 to $1,000 Canadian. Currently, some farmers are approaching this issue by dehydrating a portion of their produce using traditional drying methods, such as trays of sliced produce left out on rooftops or in open fields to be dried naturally by the sun. However, this method is largely ineffective due to bacteria, vermin, and the weather interfering with this process.
This is where our project, Raw Solutions, comes in. Enactus BCIT's contribution in the fight against climate change. Raw Solutions is working towards 3 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Raw Solutions created a solar dehydrator that is going to help combat food waste. A solar dehydrator is a device that can dehydrate produce using only the power of the sun. The dehydrated produce can be sold at local markets, generating a secondary revenue stream for farmers, all while reducing their waste. So what does this look like in the eyes of the farmer? Farmers are currently accustomed to wasting over 30% of their crops. Upon receiving a solar dehydrator, farmers will be able to assemble and set up their own dehydrator using the provided instruction manual. Farmers will then be able to take a portion of their crops that would otherwise go to waste, cut them up into the recommended sizes, and place it in the dehydrator for the recommended times. Then using the Raw Solutions manual, they will be able to appropriately package the dehydrated produce into portions, which can be taken to the local markets to sell alongside their fresh produce. And once dehydrated, the produce can be preserved for over a year, while keeping all of the calories and 85% of the nutrients, allowing farmers to utilize their crops that would originally be left to rot. We discussed this solution with our 3 partners, and they all confirmed the need for our solar dehydrators, as well as they foresaw our dehydrators having a positive economic, environmental, social, and health impact for their farmers.
So, in fall of 2018, we pulled together a team of engineering students from BCIT to assist us in designing and creating our first prototype. They had finalized the design by January 2019, and our very first prototype was constructed just a few months later. In order to test this prototype, we needed some support. So we established 2 partnerships with Enactus Okanagan College and the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners. Enactus Okanagan College has a project called Fruit Snaps, where they are focused on reducing food waste here in Canada by dehydrating Okanagan apples. And because our objectives were so similarly aligned, we decided to partner together. Enactus Okanagan College also connected us to our second key partner, the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners. The Gleaners are nonprofit organizations that use industrial dehydrators to dehydrate fruits and vegetables that would otherwise go to waste. They make soup mixes with this dehydrated produce and ship it to developing nations around the world, providing millions of meals to undernourished communities every year. It was through our partnership with the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners that we were able to make connections with our other NGO partners, who assisted us with our needs assessment. So, in summer 2019, we shipped our first prototype to our Okanagan partners to be tested. The Enactus OC team conducted various tests with our dehydrator and gathered valuable insights. In return for their support, we helped Fruit Snaps distribute their dried Okanagan apples to a local secondary school in Vancouver. Throughout the summer testing, our engineering team took the valuable feedback we gained from our partners and realized that we needed to make some major changes to the design. Our first prototype wasn't reaching our desired internal temperature and would be too expensive for our end user. We then conducted further research and realized we needed to completely redesign our first prototype. From August to September of 2019, we designed and built our second prototype, which was more affordable for our end user. But in time, we found that our second prototype still wasn't reaching our desired internal temperature.
In September 2019, we hired our head of engineering, an experienced mechanical engineering student at BCIT who brought his expertise and insight to the table. He was able to reinvent and improve upon our second prototype design, developing our third and final prototype. Our third prototype is more effective, durable, affordable, and easier to use in comparison to our previous two models, as well as 100% recyclable after its 20-year lifespan. To conduct robust testing of our third prototype, we established a partnership with KRAUS, the Center for Applied Research and Innovation, a multi-million-dollar research facility at BCIT. We hypothesized the intensive lighting grid set up in the green screen studio at KRAUS could mimic the sun's heat. The goal with this testing was to measure the temperature difference between the 20-degree air-conditioned studio and the dehydrator drying chamber. With this first round of testing, we didn't achieve the internal temperature required to dehydrate produce. So, we brought in UV gardening grow lights we hoped would more accurately simulate the sun for the second round of testing. In the second round, we tested a variety of produce found in our target countries in different sizes. Unfortunately, we were only able to reach 35 degrees in the drying chamber due to the fact that the lights emit mostly ultraviolet light, which doesn't impact performance as much as visible light. So, for the third round of testing in February 2020, we took the dehydrator outside to be tested in the real sun. Although the Vancouver climate is much colder than our target countries, and while it was only 12 degrees outside, our dehydrator reached a temperature of 43 degrees after sitting in the sun for just 50 minutes. This data is extremely important as it confirms our dehydrator will reach the ideal temperature range of 45 to 60 degrees needed to dehydrate this produce when used in our target climates.
Throughout our R&D phase, we've been developing and adapting our business model to incorporate changes in prototype design and increasing opportunities with our key community partnerships. We've utilized the knowledge we've gained from our entrepreneurship, business management, marketing, accounting, and finance classes to develop a robust business plan. We've also incorporated advice from our business mentors, both faculty and industry professionals working in business consulting and serial entrepreneurship, into our business plan as we sought continued input throughout our entire R&D phase. We estimate that our dehydrators are going to cost us $70 to $100 per unit. We plan to sell each unit for about $200, giving us a profit of roughly $120 per dehydrator. This money will be reinvested back into the project. We plan to sell dehydrators to our NGO partners who have the budget, distribution channels, and connections to our target market. These nonprofits will be subsidizing the cost of the dehydrators and supplying it to the farmers.
So, let's look at the impact. With one dehydrator, a farmer is able to dehydrate and repurpose up to 4 kilograms of otherwise wasted produce. That means a Guatemalan farmer, for example, could dehydrate 25 mangoes in a single 8-hour day. Multiply that by a conservative 60-day harvest, and it is a collective 300 kilograms of waste, or 1,500 mangoes offset. And how does this benefit the farmer? We estimate a farmer in Guatemala should be able to sell one dehydrated mango for approximately $1.80 Canadian. By dehydrating the same 1,500 mangoes for only 2 months out of the year, a farmer can expect to make an additional 2,700 Canadian in revenue for their farms.
So where are we now?
At the end of March 2020, we had 2 dehydrators built and ready to be shipped out. We were planning to send one with a community partner, going to Belize, and another with the gleaners to Love Guatemala.
These dehydrators were going to give us real-world field testing and complete the R&D phase by confirming the effectiveness of our third prototype in our target climate. After this, we had plans to manufacture and deliver 10 more dehydrators to farmers in Guatemala by the end of April 2020, and another 20 dehydrators by the end of this year.
However, with the implications of COVID-19, our plans to send the dehydrators down to Belize and Guatemala have been postponed.
While we eagerly wait to ship out our dehydrators to those in need, Our team is putting together a universal instruction manual to be given to farmers to allow them to assemble and use their dehydrator effectively.
RAW Solutions has grown from a small concept to a social enterprise that will help fight climate change. With just 10 years to make a reversible impact on the effects of climate change, we must take immediate action.
We are Enactus BCIT.
And as the next generation,
We have taken our small step and are helping communities take theirs too.